Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and today I'm going to do a 6-year review video on the SecretLab Titan. This is the 2020 edition. I purchased it in 2019. That says they sold it as the 2020 edition. At the time, it was probably one of my most expensive, office furniture, whatever. Starting to make a little bit of traction on YouTube, and I was like, $100 office chairs, they're nice, but you got to add all the cushions to them. You got to replace them every few years. They're always falling apart. So I was like, I'm gonna pay a little more and have this. And I will say, it's held up really nice. I've not used it every single day, but it's still 6 years old, and I'm going to talk about that. I am going to get some close-up shots and kind of do some more in-depth up close things. There's not too much to show. I think the majority is just going to be me talking about how it's held up, how I feel about it. And start off, there's no damage to it. There's no noticeable wear. The durability is pretty much perfect. There are some issues. It's mostly just comfort. These, as everyone says, it's into chairs. Gaming chairs aren't ergonomic chairs. And that's true. There's some things you can do to remedy that. It's a trade-off. I mean, they'll say the Harman Millers and everything, and that's fine, but I'm not spending that much money on a chair like that. If I could find one used or refurbished, under $1,000 maybe, but it's too much of a risk unless you can go somewhere and actually try them all out. With that being said, though, it'd be nice to try a whole bunch of different, gaming chairs and everything, but this one, I can't complain that I picked this one because there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just not the most super comfortable chair. So I'll say, as far as durability goes, I think the nature of how these armrests work, they are loose. They've always been, but I'm pretty impressed because one of the things is, who doesn't have problems with their lower back? But one thing I'll do, and I think it's when you sit in it kind of puts some tension on it. But if I raise up, I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but that decompresses my spine. It actually works better than I have an inversion table and doing this. Now, you don't have to crack it that many times unless I'm sitting in this position. It must just put more tension or pressure on the spine. But the fact that I put all my body weight, and I'm a pretty big guy, on these armrests, and they're not getting more loose, they're not creaking, they're not breaking. There's enough metal construction in here that's a testament. And that's something too, if you have back issues, something, if you didn't know, just if you want to do that, I mean, it might help. The adjustability, I put it back down so it'll fit easily, slide under the desk without getting caught on anything. I do have these Aludi armrest pads, memory foam. They're super comfortable. They've held up well. I don't think I've really needed to clean them. Looks like maybe there's a wee little bit of discoloration or just some wear on this microfiber. I think this one's also, because it faces kind of where the window is, I think it's a little bit lighter colored, but the only problem was when I bought these, they didn't make a slightly longer version to accommodate these armrests, which they do now. So newer ones will fit perfectly. But with that being said, I still never really run into any issues. And the newest SecretLabs, you can get the magnetic cushioned armrests that are much better than the factory ones, that are still better than a lot of chairs, but that's probably the way to go. You're going to pay way more. This is a really cheap solution, and for the 2020 series, you had to add your own third-party armrest cushions if you wanted them. So these have held up well. I don't have any complaints with the armrests. I don't raise it up. I have it as low to the ground as it'll go. That's just how I like it. Now this back piece, there is some movement, but I think it was always there. I really don't feel any side-to-side movement. I know my cheaper office chairs, around the $100, $150 price point. This is real flimsy, and then it'll kind of shimmy there's a lot of where it must kind of catch on one part of the frame and then the other side's still loose, to where this one has a little bit of forward and back, but it doesn't have any side to side. I don't use this lock all the time, but it's nice when it's there if you want to just be in one position and not so much just kind of moving around relaxing. The headrest is an issue with me. That's why I have this other one. I don't even know if they make it anymore, just some random no-name company on Amazon. This was the series that had the physical elastic strap, which on this type of curved back, it wouldn't go down low enough to where this one's bigger and it reaches down further, so I use this one. But that's kind of a non-issue in the newer Titans because they're all magnetic, and I think they would go down way lower, so you don't have to deal with that. But still, you know, like, who's gonna to use this the way I'm assuming you're supposed to use it? Like, how is this comfortable unless my monitor, like, I'm weird, like, Hollywood versions of, like, some tech dork that's, like, you know, in some, like, weird Matrix thing, and they're, like, upside down. Like, how is this a... So, even like this, it's kind of hitting my shoulders a little bit for support, but I would really need it to be even further out. So, maybe that's just I don't sit right, I don't know. But I don't use the lumbar. I actually put a little cushion, and then I have another one I'm going to talk about. But so there's basically no lumbar. And my main issue, which is probably just more of a size thing, and sideways size, horizontal size, is I don't like the bolsterings in the seat at all. They should just be for show. They should kind of just come out sideways or at a way more obtuse angle. They pinch too much, and you can get the XL version, which I'm considering, but again, you're only getting like another inch or so. And especially if you want to come over to the side, now this is digging into your back. Even if you're skinny, this is still going to be digging into your shoulder. It'll push it forward, which isn't good, and it'll get sore. I don't know why all these gaming companies are so obsessed with making this racing seat that's this tight. You can still keep the shape of a racing seat and just not make the bolsters, make it way wider, or just make them just straight out or something. I don't know why they haven't, as far as I can tell from their website, changed that. Even if you make the XL a little wider, it still has these, so if you come off to the side. I think one time I actually did pull a muscle by trying to reach, and kind of that bolster having to really fight through it, so that's kind of an issue too. But last thing I'll say, you know, no squeaks, no rattles. Some of the newer ones, I was watching some reviews on the newer, I don't know if it was a 2022 or whatever it was. Some of them, like, almost from out of the box make noise. I think they had some shims or something you could put in it to fix it. I'm sure they were considered defective. You would imagine that's probably remedied by now. But, you know, they're more expensive now, and this one is pristine. Again, perfect durability. No wear and tear at all. No noise, no creaks. I would be reluctant to get rid of it just in the fear that even if the one was a little bit more comfortable, a little bigger, a little better for me, is it going to hold up this well? So for that, I would hesitate to want to buy a different one. As expensive as they are, you know, it's really, do I even want another one? But I will say that this one was the right choice, because I know I can still get years and years of use out of it. But let me go ahead and get a little more up close just so you can really see the chair itself instead of me. So here we are, and this was the other piece. It was one of those covers for an actual seat cushion that I had on an older one, and I don't know if I stuffed an old shirt or towel, but it kind of just fills in that gap. That helped with my lumbar, because the lumbar on these ones is way too high. I need it clear at the bottom. And then this was on sale at Walmart, so I picked it up just to try it. It looks horrible. I mean, it just doesn't really mesh very well. And it pushes me too far out, which is my own main issue. But that one actually perfectly solves any lumbar issues I have. But it's also still fine like this. And people will complain and say, well, it's not that good if you have to add stuff to it. And maybe so, but you look at the reviews for any type of cushion on Amazon, a lot of people add them onto all kind of different chairs. So not like it's just a SecretLab thing. It's hard to find something that really fits you nice sometimes. This was the, I don't know if it was called the 2.0 PU or leather or whatever, I forgot what it was called, but the new one's that nano gen or next gen. It's supposed to be 14 times stronger. I think when this one came out, it was supposed to be 4 times stronger, so it's held up really, really well, really nice looking. Has these suede or Alcantara inserts. You know, nothing's torn. Now I wear like more of a silky basketball short indoors. I don't have jeans or riveted pockets or anything. I mean, sometimes if I'm, have that on, I'll still sit in it, but almost all the time I'm just in more casual wear when I'm indoors, just on here specifically. Back looks really nice too. Nothing really to see. I will say I put those roller skate looking wheels on here. Supposedly they're better. Maybe on a hard floor they would be, but they didn't roll at all on carpet. They're supposed to, but they just didn't. And they made the chair a little bit too high. It threw me off because I can't go any lower than I have it set. And then it would cause the armrest to hit the desk. So I immediately took those back off. So I'm just going to stick with these. They're completely fine. And for me, those roller skate looking wheels didn't help at all. So that was something that was much better from the factory, the way they designed it. But no issues with it. It still looks just fine. It looks like it's pretty much still new. All the adjustments still work. Again, nothing's really broken or making noise, so it's perfect when it comes to durability. I will say, as far as maintenance goes, which is pretty minimal. Last time I made a video, they actually sent me this, which was pretty nice. The cloth too. And I'm actually really glad they sent it to me because I do a lot of car detailing. So I probably would have ended up just using a interior cleaner and probably like a restorer or wipe. And it would have put more of that greasy film on this. When you spray this stuff on, which I'll even just do a little quick spot, I think it does add maybe a little bit of a satin film. But it does an excellent job cleaning, but it doesn't really leave any sticky residue. Now it will darken it a bit and it's still wet, but this stuff's really good. So I don't know if the formula is the same. See, this seat was already clean and I cleaned it recently, but maybe it adds a wee little bit of a satin sheen, but it's perfect. It doesn't add that greasiness to it. So if this is still the same exact stuff they sell now that they did then when I got this, I would highly recommend that for the, well, probably even the Napa leather, but just all the leatherette versions. It does a really nice job getting dust off, getting smudges off, and putting a wee little bit of a protectant shine on it. So you're probably paying more for this, but it's actually better than the car seat detailer stuff. It's going to put that greasy, slippery texture to it. That's the coolest thing I could come up with. Sorry about that. But I really think that's about all there really is to show with it. I mean, if you have any suggestions or anything you'd want to know, you can ask me and I'll get back to you. I really think all that's left to say is, where do I go from here? And I want to talk about their new products. I would like to get another one. Mainly I like the idea of the magnetic pillow. I like that the lumbar can be shifted. I still don't know if it'll go low enough, but the main reason was I would much prefer to have the XL version. Unfortunately, I think it's kind of marginal gains. I think the seat base is maybe an inch or two wider. I think it sticks out an inch further. I know the backrest is quite a few inches, maybe 3 or 4 inches taller, which I'm 6'2", about 225, 230 pounds. And I mean, the backrest really isn't the issue, so I don't know why they made that so much taller. But then, they don't make it wider. I mean, I think I speak for all of us, and most of us are wider than we are taller. So I think they should, especially since I don't think they sell the Omega line anymore, because that was the main complaint with it was too narrow, too bolstered. So I don't know why they just don't make another, not the Titan, just another line that's flat. You can still keep the racing theme if you want, the gaming chair theme, but just get rid of the bolsters, or again, make them come way out to where they're not digging into you. And they always say that about the seat's a little more firm. That's kind of supposed to keep you in. Well, I don't really want a race car seat, and they'll say, well, that's kind of why you're buying a gaming chair. But I would kind of like if SecretLab sold something that isn't the gaming chair formula, because I like their quality, I like their brand, I like what I've been using here for years. So I would give them a shot on some other types of seats, which I don't know if they have any subsidiary companies that do sell anything like that or not. But as it stands now, I like the XL. If I was going to get one, I'd probably get that new leather, which is going to cost what's like a $300 increase, which is kind of crazy. So then I think maybe I would just go with this one again, as this one is still perfect. There's no peeling, cracking, any issue at all, and the feel's fine. So that would definitely be something, if you didn't have it, you never had a chair before, you really wouldn't need to go with the upgraded one. I'd be curious to try it myself, but the price has gone up so much. I paid $399 in 2019 for it, which was quite expensive back then for me, and just for a chair in general that wasn't a Herman Miller or something. So the fact that I think they're over 500 now, it's kind of quite the price increase. I'm sure some things have gone up, but I don't know if it's warranted that much of an increase. I think it's more just a brand thing, because they're kind of known as the #1 gaming chair now. There were a lot of other companies and names and everything that came and went, and I think this one really it just stood the test of time. So that's probably why they have such a price increase. For me, I would probably get the XL. I think the XL is only a $50 price increase. So that's kind of weird that you can get, bigger chairs, more materials, and it's only $50 more. For anyone, borderline, I would just get the bigger one myself, but I'm a big guy. So for me, I've always known that you have to go bigger when you want comfort. It just seems to be that, if you're worried and you're kind of at the threshold, just go with the bigger size. So when I bought this, they didn't have an XL at the time. Otherwise, I probably would have just paid the extra $50 and got that. But that's what I'll probably close on, is this one's perfect. So would I even want to risk, first off, the financial investment to have to pay that much for the new one? But then, is it going to last 6 years? Because I know I can get several more years out of this. I don't work a 9 to 5 in this or anything, but anytime I'm making videos, a lot of times I've been using a laptop and I don't even use it, but if I'm at the desk, or if I'm watching YouTube or doing a project or something, it still gets a lot of use, but it's not daily 9 to 5. So for that situation, I can't say how well it would hold up, and there probably are some, maybe a Herman Miller or some other type of more ergonomic options, but it's just a typical gaming chair for a gaming room or something like that. This absolutely fits the bill. But I'm speaking more to the 2020 model, and I really don't think you can find it. Maybe you can get one locally, but beyond that, you got to go new, so you're going to pay way more. I will say, if it can match the quality and durability of this one, then even though it's still an investment, I would say, definitely go for it. There certainly are other options and cheaper options, but I really wouldn't know what would be much better. If I could get something that's just a little more comfortable and bigger, but with this exact same build quality, I would be interested, and I don't know who that would be. So you can't lose by going with this chair. I'll say that. I've used it all these years. I'm happy with it, and I'm still going to continue to use it for the foreseeable future. And it does speak to why SecretLab's probably, the biggest name out there now, because it's, this is why chairs like this gave really good impressions to them. So I don't know what their quality is now. If I'm going to go ahead and try one, I will certainly do a comparison and Obviously, I'll just have the experience to be able to tell which one's better. Which I would hope it would be the newer one, but I don't know. For now, again, I'm just going to stick with what I have. So if you have the 2020, I would like to know how yours is held up, and if you can find one used or something, if it's in good condition and wasn't abused. If it's anything like this, then go ahead and get that one. So hopefully my experience with the 2020 version was helpful. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.